Welcome back for all of our listeners to The Parent Solution, your one-stop shop for all things educational. I am, as usual, your host, Kimberly, and I have a guest with me today. It is a guest episode. I have Bracha Goetz with me, and she is a Harvard-educated author of 41 books that help children's souls shine. I really think this is an important topic to discuss. Bracha, I'm so happy that you're here today. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So maybe start with telling our listeners a little bit about where your inspiration is, and where your sort of purpose and passion for writing these books came from.
Sure. My goal has been to write the books that I wished I had as a child. Books that explain life to children early on so that they know how to really thrive in life. How I teach happiness skills to children early in life, teaching them about gratitude, but also I teach them that they're spiritual beings in addition to being physical beings, which is something I did not know till later on in life. And I also teach about how and why to have a healthy body, because that's also part of letting one's soul shine. Some of my books are about the prevention of abuse. There are books about learning disabilities, how to be more inclusive of children that are more neurodiverse. And there are books about swimming safely. All of these things have to do with helping children's souls to shine fully, knowing the guidelines in life and giving them the tools to be able to do as well as possible in life.
Mm-hmm. I really like how you have, and I mean, I haven't read any of your children's books, but I really like from what I've seen so far and from conversations that we've had, how you really focus on nurturing that emotional well-being in children and fostering that positive self-esteem and confidence as, as as any adult should, I think, is focusing on fostering that positive self-esteem and that confidence. I think that's something that's really lacking in a lot of society today, for sure.
Exactly. So many people have this inner critic that actually propels their day forward, a feeling of unworthiness. And I feel, why should people have to play catch up in life? If we give children the understanding early on in life about how amazing they are, how infinite their potential is, it's a totally different thing. And we also give children the tools to overcome that inner critic, to overcome that voice, that constant voice that could be there all day long, telling us to focus on what we're lacking instead of what we already have. So I teach children how to become aware of that voice and how to overpower it.
And I think that's really, really powerful. Can you give me maybe an example of in one of your books, how you go about teaching children how to do that?
Yeah, sure. Well, this is actually my newest book. Don't read this book. Don't read this book is written by that nagging voice. So the nagging voice is saying, don't read this book. I don't want you to find out my tricks, because once you learn my tricks, you'll be able to outsmart me. So then you go inside and you start finding out that this nagging voice is getting you to focus. Let's say here's a girl. She has all this great stuff in the shopping cart with her mother, but she's by the checkout counter and she wants that one thing that's not in the cart. That's what she thinks will make her happy. And she just focuses on that instead of all that she already got. So you realize, oh, wait a minute. We all have a voice like that in our heads, every single one of us. But the minute we become aware of it, it loses its power. it works on us by being confusing and being an undercurrent. Once we bring it to the forefront and we go, oh my gosh, that's you trying to make me miserable. It's like the Wicked Witch of the West. When you pour water on it, it just like melts away. It has no power once we recognize it for what it is. And other things it does is it'll say things like, oh, just have one little piece of candy. It tells you to just do a little wrong thing. And then guess what? It knows how you operate and you'll have more and more. So we can use that same. We say, oh, I'm just going to stretch a little bit and it feels so good. And then we stretch more and we do more good things. We can use the same tricks of that voice inside of us to use it for good in the world. This is so amazing for children to get this early on in life. It took me 30 years to write that book because I had the book, I had the title, I had most of the book written, but it wasn't ready. I finally got the surprise ending last year, and that's what made the book ready for the children. What I realized last year, it's all really from ancient wisdom, is that voice, this is so amazing. It really doesn't want us to listen to it either. It's like dumbbells. The dumbbells are used, they're resistance training. They push against us so that we can build our muscles. We can build our gratitude muscles, being thankful for what we have, pushing against that force that's trying to get us to focus on what we're lacking. It's amazing. We all have that in us, and it's for a good purpose too. So that was the amazing piece of wisdom I got to add, to recognize that even that voice is put in us for a good reason, to make us into better people as we gain our gratitude muscles, pushing it off, exercising those muscles.
I've never heard it put that way before, but that really, it's a very simple analogy that makes a whole lot of sense, is that it's there for you to push against it.
Yes.
I've heard the saying before that fear, the idea of fear, is just there to show you that something is worth it, right? It's there to show you that this is something that you're scared of, but it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. And in the same way, where we use dumbbells, you talked about, physical exercise and a healthy body, and instilling those sorts of values in kids from a young age of a healthy body and a healthy mindset. It, in the same way that you would use dumbbells or resistance training or weight training or body weight training or whatever to assist you in building a strong and healthy body, you want to use certain difficulties in your life, perhaps certain situations in your life, to build character development and to build a resilience to certain things, to be able to help you cope as a human being with certain situations.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. The challenges are there to make us into better people. Absolutely. We don't always pass the test, but the opportunity is there for us to work on those abilities. Exactly. And the more we can give children the tools to succeed early in life, the more joyful a life they get to have and the more they can accomplish.
Right. I know when we spoke before, one of your passions, one of your purpose driven mindsets, I would say, is giving people the ability to be happy as adults. And maybe you can speak a little bit to that. A lot of your books, I know, speak about instilling certain values, certain character development, certain traits that are important to be a good, happy, positive person and a human being that is of a happy mindset. What role can parents play in instilling those sorts of values and fostering character development with their children? Do you have any suggestions?
Exactly. It's so simple, but what is generally not known is that gratitude is the secret to happiness. When you take everything else away, that's really what it's all about. I want to share, if nothing else, if parents can get this message, what I used to do with my children, and now my children do it with their children, is I would hand them anything And I wouldn't let go of it. I'm holding it. They're holding it. And why am I not letting go of it until they say thank you? Well, this is for a piece of paper, a glass of water, any simple thing. This instills gratitude in children so they don't take anything for granted in life. And you do it joyfully. You don't do it with a mean look on your face. No, you're standing there, you're holding it, they're holding it, and you're smiling. Why am I not letting go? What's going on?
Yeah.
And maybe the first time you explain it, but after that, you don't have to use any words at all. And they get it immediately, and the message is implanted on their soul. It's engraved. The message of being grateful for everything in life. This is what makes a person. This is really it. So I'm modeling gratitude by you as a parent modeling gratitude, and by instilling it then in a very organic way to your children. That's the way, truthfully, to create children that have the most pleasurable possible life.
And I would agree with you. I think that gratitude is something that's very important to practice on a regular basis, if not a daily basis. And maybe this is a newer concept for some people. Are there certain things that you might suggest to start this journey of gratitude for parents and children to be able to go through this journey of gratitude together? Because maybe some parents don't know where to start. Where would you suggest starting with that journey if you're doing?
Exactly. It's a great point. You can start with something as small as a raisin, but I'll pick an orange. An orange is my favorite thing to pick. Just think about an orange. Okay. First of all, it's green. It's green when it's camouflaged in with the leaves like other fruit until it's ready for you. It's ready. It becomes bright and a beautiful color. Then it smells beautiful. It's beautiful to look at. The sweet juiciness is kept inside for months because it's individually packaged in this amazing peel, which keeps the juiciness in. And after you finish it, you are left with the seeds of eternity. These seeds they can become an infinite amount of trees, an infinite amount of oranges. This is such an exercise in mindful gratitude. Just one orange. So you can take anything in life. They're all the natural, wonderful things that we've been given in this amazing world, in this incredible garden that we're in. When you pause to appreciate them, oh my gosh, you can actually go into a state of such ecstasy, just focusing on one thing like an orange, of how much loving kindness, compassion, and wisdom is found in an orange. Amazing. So take the little things in life. It's when we gradually can then get rid of that sense of entitlement. And also we have a sense of scarcity of pleasure in this world. We feel there's not enough pleasure in my life. This is the way to bring back into your life, because we all have an infinite amount of blessings in our life right now that we could be so thankful for. But again, we tend to focus. We get in the habit of focusing on what we don't have. Once you create that gratitude habit, it feels funny at first. It's like you're going down a road that's not been traveled on yet. It's very gravelly. It's hard to drive on. Once you keep driving on it, it gets easier and easier. That's how the neural pathways are that we create to our brain, the gratitude pathways. Once you begin practicing it, it may feel silly at first, but it feels so natural and wonderful the more that you practice it.
I can really resonate with that point that you made. The point of, we operate a lot of the times from a mindset of what we don't have, and we focus on what we don't have. If you just focus on what you do have and you focus on being grateful for the things that you do have, it really does change your outlook on a lot of things. I had this suggestion once to practice gratitude on a daily basis, but to practice the idea of gratitude in a more physical way rather than just in a mental space of actually writing things down, right? And it didn't necessarily matter what time. The suggestion was at the beginning of the day because then you set the time, set the tone for the rest of your day. And to write down, 3, 4, 5 things, if you can come up with 10, great. But 3 to 5 things that you're grateful for every day. And they can be simple, right? And the suggestion was to vary them as much as possible so that you're seeing as many things to be grateful for as possible. From simple things like I got out of bed this morning without my body hurting. I got to eat breakfast this morning with or without people in my life that are important, right? I got to drink water first thing this morning, right? Like simple things that we
Beautiful.
maybe take for granted a lot of the time. When you realize that you have so many things if you woke up and you ate breakfast, you're ahead of something like 75% of the population already. If you
Exactly.
woke up and ate breakfast,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So I love it. Thank you so much for showing up today. Before we close out this podcast, tell our listeners where they can find you, where they can locate you, and where they might be able to get in touch with you.
Oh, sure. My youngest children have created the Goetz Bookshop where all my books are sold, and I give presentations, consultations. So anybody that wants to visit, we love you to visit there. That would be great. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. And for those of you who are familiar with the Parent Solution podcast, you know that of course there's a partner blog that goes up. So all of Bracha's information will be in that blog that we have. It coincides with just the day before this podcast dropped. So thank you again so much. I really appreciate your time, Bracha. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for your energy and your time and your positive vibes, putting out your positive vibes.
Thank you. My pleasure.